some Ether cyberpunk industrial music playing. That's the name of this thing. Ethereum Breakout. Let's fade that out and find a better. I was going to kill the music here. Yeah, I was muted. Let's kill the music. I meant to kill the music and turn up my mic, and I did the opposite. All right, then. Sorry about that, guys. So look at this loser, ADA. Such a loser. It's down. Look at that downtrend. Got to short this downtrend on this ADA thing. Whatever this is pathetic. Straight down. Oh, it's the 1 minute chart. Oh, my bad. Oh, the 8 minute. Look at that. The 8 hours a little different. But we're here, well, ADA broke out. ADA's on its all-time high. I think ETH made a new all-time high on a couple of exchanges just now. I think we topped out at 1,500, and I decided to go live. I saw it ding 1,500. I was like, well, we got to get up past this. What is this number? 1508 for Binance is the last number I have. Hey. Let's take a look at the analysis here, what we got. This is kind of just a hangout watching Ethereum kind of break to the upside here. You know, I did post that I was going to be switching to going long versus USD. So you see I've moved my USD above here, above my BTC charts. And you can see this is exactly why I went long USD. Now, ETH BTC would be winning, but some of these others, BTC is going to pull them up. So I think Bitcoin's about to have a little bit of a move here. I basically, if I were to summarize it, I didn't want to be playing alts versus BTC as Michael Saylor was doing the hype thing this week with all the CEOs coming in, adding Bitcoin all those balance sheets. I'd rather be basically short the US dollar and long all these cryptos. Hey Philip, Tom, Timothy. Good midday, whatever time it is your time. I've also upgraded I got a new camera. This is it's supposed to be a better camera. I can turn up the brightness on this little ring here. So at nighttime, this is gonna be more important at nighttime. At nighttime when I stream at night, you'll be able to see me a little better. So I got this new Razer camera. So yeah, I mean, everything's looking real bullish. I don't know if anybody has any requests as to what to look at. Bitcoin, you see my chart on Bitcoin. It's kind of busy down here, but all these lines down here tell you there's a lot of support. So look at all these lines I have. How busy this chart is down here. It's all support levels. And look how not busy it is up top. That's because there's no resistance. And we got, you know, obviously 42K is going to put some resistance on it. There you go. There's a couple of resistance levels. But yeah, it's doing pretty much what I thought it was going to do. I did a live stream. My live stream last week, I said I thought it was going to ping pong around before it finally broke out. And there you go. That's what it's trying to do right now. This is Bitcoin, 3,500. But Ethereum, if Alan's around here, Alan, good job, your Ether's doing well. It's almost keeping up with my ADA today, almost. Hold on, let's look at the ADA versus ETH chart. This is gonna have to be a little friendly competition. Oh man, we've been sideways. Let's see here, from the very beginning of time, you got to count all these spikes out because this is like it actually started. We're completely sideways with ETH since it started. This is where, technically speaking, right here is where ADA started its life. So ADA started that bottom line there. So technically ADA is up versus Ethereum. So it's clear. It's clear ADA is better than Ethereum. Look at that. Just kidding. We'll see what happens. If they continue to track sideways, it's gonna be a little bit boring. But good thing most of us are invested in both ADA and ETH. They're equal. Actually, I technically right now I have a bigger trade on ETH than I do on ADA, even though ADA is the one that was performing better earlier today. Yeah, I did put a full-size trade. I'll just tell you all this. Right here, coming out of off of this support, this trend line, we hit that 1274 support, which if I was trying to do accumulation, I would have thought about buying the dip there. But because this is a trade, I waited for the resumption signal, and I went at a full-size trade right here on ETH. One full-size trade on ETH because it was a 12-hour chart. I felt good about it. I've been really good with being able to play ETH so far. ADA, I put on 2 smaller on the 4-hour. No, they were 12-hour entries. That's right. I put on 2 smaller entries here. I actually had a breakout retest assumption. I have 2 entries on it. I'd have to go back and figure out how I came up with figuring out where I put those entries. It must have been 4-hour entries. I must have breakout retest. I don't know if I got a false signal somewhere in here, but I have two smaller entries, which amounts to basically a mid-sized position almost on ADA. Not as much as I'd like to have given this breakout, but yeah, ETH's a nice full-size position. BTC, I've got 2 small positions based on these 2 entries here. One there and one maybe there. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly where I put on positions on BTC, but they're both green. I think one was way down here actually. Yeah, one there where I just marked that, and one was way down here. Both green now. I haven't moved my stop loss up on any of these, but I've got a full sized on ETH. I think we're gonna snap to the upside here pretty soon. I mean, my price target for ETH is like $2,800 in the next 2 months. So by the end of March, I think we could be up at basically twice where we're at, 2,800. DOT, I've got 2 small trades on DOT, probably just entries from this little consolidation period, another entry here, something like that. I'm pretty much in DOT right here. Yeah, my 2 entries on ADA are both back here. Now, obviously, I have my HODL position, which is so I'm now with ETH and ADA both outperforming. I'm probably at least 10% each on ADA and ETH. Let's see what we got here in comments. Just stop and hit the like button. Watch later, get back to work. All right, Kevin, thank you. Yeah, this is probably not going to be a long stream today. I just happen to have some white space, and I got a bunch of stuff knocked out this morning, so I felt like I had a few minutes to... I actually really need to be studying for a certification renewal I have to get done here pretty soon. Watched your vid on Engine. Bought it a few weeks back. Best investment. No problem. Been buying Cardano since Christmas. YH 6K target ETH for me this year. Yeah. So my initial target on ETH, as far as trading it now, I'm just going to hold my hold position all the way through until I think it's completely played out. I'm not going to touch my hold position, but my tradable position, I'm looking for a few weeks, the big move in the next few weeks. So I don't think we're going to get to $2,800 in the next few weeks. I think we're going to hit some levels. Let's see if I can turn off auto here, and let's go see if we can hunt in some levels. Yeah, I had these all marked out. I did tweet a whole bunch of levels. 2,000 might be a level I'd be looking to trim my trade on at this point. So I moved from 1,500 to 2,000. When we hit price discovery, that's where we're going to come into initial resistance, and then 2254. So I'll probably trim some coming into 2,000, and then if we get a confirmation down, then I'll be getting out of my trade. Or if we break through here and looks like we might be moving on up, I'll hold a piece of it. But I'll probably initially take profit on this trade I just put on here at 2,000. So my stop loss was, I think 11, like right below 1,200. So this is gonna be, if the trade plays out. No, it still hasn't totally played out yet, obviously. And then I entered right there roughly, I think. So what's that, like a 4-to-1, I think is what I figured out. Like 4 to 5 to 1 trade. We'll just see. Where are we at now, guys? 1492 on ETH. Turn back on auto. It's trying. I moved that trend line. I didn't mean to move Polkadot's probably picking up steam. So Polkadot's going to get drug up by ETH. ADA does its own thing. I've noticed a lot. It doesn't really correlate to ETH too terribly much. As you can see on the ADA ETH chart, over time they bounce back and forth. They're almost, and I think a lot of people think that ADA is more like a hedge to ETH, like they're competitive with each other, and they are competitive in some senses. But I think the maximalism view of it all is kind of silly. I think there's more than enough room for multiple layer 1 platforms. So I've never ever thought that ETH meant that ADA was going to die. I've always played ADA for its strengths and ETH for its strengths. I think they're unique. They'll have their unique value. I mean, Alan and I are this loopering, so we've been buying some of this loopering here. See if I can find another spot to buy this one too. I'll just be acquiring this on 12-hour entry signals, basically. This is both a layer 2 scaling solution and a decentralized exchange. So the great thing about ETH is that you've got all these side projects. This is a roll-up. So the way loopring works, it's a ZK roll-up as opposed to a side chain. But this works as a very fast, layer 2 scaling solution. As well, it also is a trading platform, so you can trade pretty much instantly. So actually, I like loopring even better than like Uniswap now that I've looked at it, because it's instant and almost free exchanges, way better than having to deal with the actual mainnet chain. So this type of project, this and Matic, which is a plasma sidechain. Where's Matic? Plasma sidechain. The reason I think I'm going to stick with LRC as my horse in that race is because they're both an exchange and a scaling solution. But yeah, Matic's got the plasma sidechain thing going on. What other platforms are you using that allows for stop losses? I'm using Kraken. I am using Kraken. $14.99. Come on, print 1500 on the screen here for us. Let's say 1500, yeah, 1500. Print 1500 at least while I'm doing this live stream. That'd be great. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it here and we'll just watch for 1500. Yeah, I use Kraken now for trading. I was using Binance, but Binance US isn't available where I'm at, so I didn't want to be stuck with getting my funds locked up or some kind of crazy issue. Once it 1500, there we go. 1500 party. Add up how much all my crypto's worth, but I need to not do that. So I'm over enthusiastic. Did you get into sand? No, man. There's so many platforms. Look, I've been so busy with other things. I have not had a chance to really think about much, to be honest. Just playing my main pairs. So many. The Sandbox, yeah. We did that recently. We looked at it last time. Has it been running really good? It's at 2591 Satoshis, 2600 Satoshis. Is it running today? Let's take a look. Is there a sand chart? I would guess it not. Oh, no, there's a sand Tetherus. Sand Bitcoin. What do we got here on the sand? It's kind of ping-ponging around. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, I mean, still opportunity there. Looks like it's coming back to support. Sand Bitcoin is what I care about more. Well, because I'm not leverage trading these. I care about this chart a whole lot more. What's it doing versus Bitcoin? Because I don't want to. I'd be basically selling Bitcoin to buy this stuff. I don't have any more. Let's drop tip there. So yeah, breakout would happen above this level. I mean, that's the first level to look at. And you've got this other. I can see another. I already broke out of that little trend line. See that? Can't wait to touch it. So your horizontal level is going to be more important though in sand. There's a level right there. It's resistance now. Fell below that resistance. And then obviously there's a level. Where we bottomed out, you could call that a level. I see some touches. I'd have to go do some more higher fidelity. Let's go to the 12 hour. There you go. All right, Sand's cool. Yeah, it's a really cool gaming platform. If you don't know, we looked at this on one of my other live streams. They brought it up. Sand is basically it's like Engine with non-fungible tokens, but it also has a game engine built in with it, so you can build games and then use their blockchain to do your NFT functionality, non-fungible token functionality within the game. So it's really cool combination of things. See how it does. Keep an eye on it. Thanks for bringing it up. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to look at? Let's see here. So I didn't get into Sand though. ETH hit 1500. We're still running. What's BTC doing? Dot's moving a little bit here. Trying to move. Let's go to the 4-hour charts. Yeah, there's a couple of CTM entries on the way up here on Dot. Link, I think, is going to make a big move. If I had to guess, the one that's going to shock people here any minute now is Link. I think Link's about to make a monster move. The reason I say that is you had this FUD sell-off, shook a lot of people out, and then obviously you've had some strong. You had this like double bull flag. This trying to break this double bull flag. I think it's gonna surprise a bunch of people. So I'm waiting. I have one small entry on Link as it came off this support right here. So I entered a very small position, my 1/10 size position right there, and I'm waiting for my second entry. So currently, right now, well, technically I might have already had a buy, like right here, if you count this wick as the test wick on that support level, but I do want to do some more work and find a good horizontal to make sure that I'm not just buying randomly on some trend line. There's some stuff there. Yeah, I think I'd rather just wait for the 8 or the 12 hour to play out. Look at the 8 hour. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a little bit safer entry to me. Just wait for this to clear this area here. Because then the resistance I'm looking at on Link is this right here. Gonna do me some Heath levels. You see, top of those wicks, the top of those candles is concurrent with, not quite those candles, bodies here. Let's go to the daily and look at something real fast. Yep, there's your range. This is what you want to watch. So on Link, that might be a good resumption signal as you cross the body of that, where that sell-off opened up there. It really might be the top of this. You know, that's probably gonna give you, but you've already kind of touched that and got rejected. So now I want to see it come up above there. Obviously, you could wait for this stuff too over here. This is that last impulse up, and then the sell-off that fell from that impulse up. Break that other impulse, and you're probably on a bigger move. All the other safe entry, but you're coming right into this top wick resistance. It won't be long till you clear all that when you're outside. We're outside this bull flag, though. The main thing would be to take an entry outside this bull flag, so that's why I still like taking the entry on the 23.48 level. After looking at this, yeah, the entry is 23.48 for me. The next entry on Link. Let's go back to ETH. So ETH printed 1500 for us, and it's just sitting there doing its thing. 1508 and Moon. You know, I don't know. I'm not in the business of trying to predict that. What I see obviously is we have this ascending wedge pattern, and who knows if we hit this and then sell off again and come back to like, you know, maybe we come back to like a 1340 level. I don't know how it's all going to play out. This is a big impulse up. So you've had a series of these. Impulse, sell off, impulse, sell off, impulse, sell off, impulse. That was a big one. Sell off, impulse, sell off, impulse. We could sell off before we go on. You know, I don't have the ability to predict what it's going to do exactly. Now, given what Bitcoin's doing, it could really take off if Bitcoin does a big move and breaks out here, and Bitcoin's going to drag. It actually might bleed at first, but Bitcoin might pull it through its resistance, or, you know, we keep marching up this. We're up to 1508. 1508 is going to be the last line in the sand for, I think, the sellers, because this is, you know, Binance's all-time high. So broach that and see if we get a rejection back down to like a 1330 level, maybe this trend line. I wouldn't I wouldn't bank on it breaking out right now and just mooning right now at this very moment in time. It's already done its huge impulse, right? And we might get an impulse continue up to like 1550, and then a little bit of, it's going to have to consolidate somewhere, probably one more time. Go back here, I'm going to show you a little history lesson. So what happened on the last ascending wedge, everybody keeps freaking out about these ascending wedges, but they break up just as often as they break down, honestly. I mean, I know the conventional wisdom is that they break down more than they break up, but I haven't experienced that. And honestly, most markets move upwards, so ascending wedges, I think the reason people look for the breakdowns on ascending wedges is the moves are a little bit bigger, but markets just do this. They move upwards more than they move downwards. So that's why I've seen it actually break up more than I've seen it break down, or just at least equally, at least. But, so we had this ascending wedge that we were consolidating in on ETH before, and if I were to really zoom in on this, it looks like it's pretty shallow, but at the time it looked a lot steeper. That's the thing about these markets, is they can kind of fool you a little bit, because on the chart, you get these bigger moves. This looked like a pretty, it looked like a pretty severe, like right there, right? You're watching this kind of pretty strong looking up, ascending wedge pattern. And it broke above it and it consolidated above it, gave you some really good entry signals. And that would have been a fantastic entry right there, right? Now you'd have to, obviously you were up and then it came back down to test that trend line one more time, and then you got another entry. So in here you would have got some more entries. Let's see here. This is the 8 hour. Let's see what the 4 hour on that area. All right, so you got some more entries here on a lower time frame. Let's go back to my 12 hour time frame for me. Sorry, guys. Is this the 600 one? Yeah, here's the 600 one, right? We had this, like I said, a big ascending wedge. People were freaking out. It's going to break down because ascending wedges just always break down. They never break up. No. Another entry there. So you had your entry there, and then boom, it was off to the races and made its next leg up. So we're going to consolidate somewhere. It's just a matter of, do we do one more round of consolidation inside this ascending wedge? Do we get rejected at the top of this ascending wedge, come back down to the bottom? I mean, all that's in play, but given the state of cryptocurrency and the fact that Bitcoin is looking bullish, I don't see Bitcoin. I think the last couple of holds we had at 30,000, I think at least for any reasonable time frame, 30,000 is going to be a bit of a floor for any sell-off in Bitcoin. So, we get some more FUD news hit the wire here and people start selling. I still think 30,000 is going to be a good floor for Bitcoin. I don't see it going back there at this point, though. So then I don't really see Ethereum testing like the very bottom of this, even this channel, but it could. It certainly could. It'd be probably pretty quick. I definitely see it come back to like 13, 20 before it does anything else. But you never know. I mean, it can break up right now. It didn't have to obey. Not have to obey anything specific. But anyway, all right. Back to the comments here. XRP pumping up? Yeah. I mean, XRP was always a pump and dump. When was that ever a question? Yeah. This. Doge. Yeah. XRP is not gonna stay elevated for very long. And Doge, what happened to Doge? Now, as soon as you look at silver, I want to see what's going on with silver. I haven't looked at this all day. Yeah, these kids are playing, so the GameStop, I thought this, Jordan said it this morning, and I was like, I always kind of thought that. Like, GameStop, one small equity that, given the short volume on it, a handful of retail buyers can probably move something like one stock, like a GameStop. Like, I don't even think AMC is probably doing that well. I bet it's not. Yeah. They're not going to be able to, they just don't have enough buying power collectively to really do a lot of damage without some serious help. And so, in the crypto space, the same thing's going to be true. And they're getting a little spread too thin, trying to take on all these equities and things at the same time. They need to, if they really want to go after, let's look at GameStop even. I bet GameStop's probably. I said the 3-day rule. I don't know if y'all said when this started to take off like this. You wait 1, 2, 3 days after the huge move. 1, 2, 3, and that's the data short. And I probably should have bought some puts right there. But it's always a 3-day rule. These huge moves, give it 3 days, and then things start to move back the other direction. I mean, I guess 1, 2, 3. I mean, you could have bought, you know, if you count this first day as the big move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But yeah, you really want to start from the really big move and count 3 days out before you decide what you're going to do. Give it 3 days. All right. XLM. Yeah, so I've got XLM with this with the auto. So I've got a trade on, a small trade on XLM too. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I don't know where I put my trade on. I think it was, I'm barely green on it, I know that much. Did I buy some coming into this lower level? I don't remember where I bought XLM. I did add a little bit though. I saw this big move up, retest. I think I bought it right through here. That resumption through there somewhere. Got a signal somewhere in there. I don't know what time frame it was on exactly anymore, but XLM looked like it had some upside. XLM obviously, yeah, XRP is going to dump. XLM is the project that's going to survive. Obviously, XLM is not affected by the SEC issues, and it's a fork of XRP, so it's a very similar use case. That's pretty much the same use case they're going after. Hey, Ron. Thanks, Oana. Oh, yeah, Oana. XLM, XRP pump and dump. Nice big 1 minute shakeout candle, BTC 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, I posted this. People just get so washed around. Like, you can watch this on a 1 minute chart and just be all over the dang place. You know, but I don't like 2 hour charts even. I know Jordan talked about 2 hour charts in crypto. I get a lot of false signals even on the 4 lately. I'm getting pretty good signals. 8 and 12. 12 give me the best signals. 12 hour gives me by far the best signals. So I still try to stick with the 12 hour when I can. Like right now, even this breakout, I caught this breakout at a really good point. I would have bought a very similar position on the 4 hour as I did on the 12 hour, but the 12 hour gave me that much more confidence to put in a nice large order. Right, so I'm still catching, like I'm probably gonna go back to the 12 hour because I've been catching great trades in the 12 hour, and it just keeps me from getting whipsawed around by, you know, craziness in the market. So as far as BTC though, if you look at it on the 12 hour chart, it looks just fine, right? So it looks fantastic. It looks like it's about to move to 38,660 pretty quick here. So you think about it, we came up, consolidated, had this downtrend. We were watching these 2 trend lines. Now I drew it as this is the outer trend, and then I drew an inner trend. You saw more touches. Now people were getting all confused as to where to draw this trend line. I picked the 2 outermost and drew a trend line. That's my main one that I've been watching right there. I'm gonna make it even more thick. That's the very main one that I was watching. And then I cloned it because I saw a lot more touches. I saw people trying to draw all kinds of trend lines with these touches down here, and I was like, you know what? The best thing to do is just to clone that upper trend line, and you'll get all those touches. You'll see it. And then I also took the extremes, this one and this one, the very far ones, and I drew an outer trend line that I also was going to watch. And so, true to form, this outer trend line, the main one I've been watching, the real thick one right now on the screen, that's the one that's given us the best signals. And now this outer one is also helping us out. I figured we might consolidate under that one. Now we're above both of these. We've stayed above this parabolic trend line. I'm going to make this one less thick because that's not... We were watching that briefly. We watched this bottom one briefly as price kind of came into it. Do I have 2 trend lines there or something? Yeah, I do. That's why. But, you know, it's no longer really something I'm watching too closely because this was a big, nice fake out. We caught a good, you know, some really voracious buying right here below $30,000. I think institutions showed us that they weren't going to let it dip down there too much because they had an appetite to buy. So the big players were ready to buy all through here. So now we've double bottomed right here, pushed back up, the Elon breakout, retest, and we're showing really solid resumption. And we're outside of this outer trend line. We've been tracking this main trend line. We held that and the 32.5 support. I mean, it just looks very, very strong, and it's built up such great support now. So when you consolidate like this, the other thing that you do over time is you build up some really crazy support. So 29.4, 30,000, 32.5 are all fantastic support. This trend line is fantastic support. This outer trend line is going to be light support now that we're above it. So you've got so much support on Bitcoin. I mean, so much support and very little resistance. What does that do? You guys go do the math on that, I guess. The same thing here with ETH. Well, ETH's built up some really good support. We got this trend line. We got this trend line. These are very long-term trend lines. Like we had these drawn in. I copied Jordan, right? And I drew this trend line. I think you see that touch right there. That was drawn in before we broke out at 620. Like, all these lines were here before this ever even happened. So we've got these. So we're building up. We've come back. We've validated first 1010, or yeah, I was at 1110 is really strong support. This is going to be light support. That's going to be moderate support. 1274 is going to be strong support. So now we've got a bunch of support, and we've got one key resistance. Two, got this trend line that we're fighting with, and 1508. So, and then the momentum's upward as well. So I mean, these, figure out what's going to happen. They both look really good. All right. And things can change obviously, and so we have to be alert of that. I haven't moved on these trades I still have. I haven't moved my stop losses up yet. My stop losses are still. I should probably move my stop loss on 80. Maybe when we get off of here, I'll take a look. I mean, I want more consolidation here. What I actually wait for to move my stop loss up is I wait for the next confirmation signal. So we had a breakout, but I don't really have a really good confirmation signal. I don't consider this a retest right here. You could, that second candle there. But I want a better retest and some better consolidation here. When I get a resumption signal inside this consolidation, then I will move my stop loss up from wherever I put it, probably 28 or so. I don't even know. To look at where I spend time looking at those trades, but I'll move that stop loss up to maybe break even when I get the next resumption signal off of that level. All right, any more thoughts? ETH, hey, good morning. Xavier. Voice volume is a little low. Let me turn that up. I'm sorry. I don't think I can turn it up anymore. Sorry, my voice. I've got it turned up all the way. I've got this. You see that? Toner mic. I don't know if I'm just not talking close enough to it. What else do we got? But yeah, ADA is looking good. I mean, my price targets on ADA are, I'm going to scare some people, but the next, I think we're going to hit, I mean, ultimately it's like, let's go back in time here. Turn this back on auto so I can get a wider view here. Yeah, so $1.40. We'll take that out by the end of the bull market, most likely. I don't know if we hit $1.40 and start to challenge the prior all-time high in the next month, like what we're doing with ETH right now, but we could. We could be $1.30 by the end of March on ADA. Honestly, I don't see why we couldn't. All right, so that's pretty stout. Yeah, I mean, my take profit on this current trade I'm in. I'm trying to think about this. I haven't even really thought about my take profit too much. I just knew it would be maybe 50 cents. Maybe at 50 I'll shave a little. Then look to buy back. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I'm going to say it looks like 58 cents is a good level to probably take a little profit based on where I have that line drawn into that resistance. That's a long way up. So I don't know where exactly I came up with 47, 46 and 47. Why are those so close to each other? I don't know. Let's go do some analysis on that. Let's go back in time machine, and look at what price action did. All right, so we cleared that level. That level is what we're into right now, 44. Get off my screen. That top wick right there is what I'll be watching. So right at 50 cents. So yeah, the level we're into right now is a big one. And that touch right there, 43. When did we hit 43? 2018 hit 43 cents? Seriously, I didn't know that. All right. So yeah, so 50 cents is going to be a big level. And then 58. And then I don't know why I had that wick right there. I'm going to put this right at 70 cents. These psychological levels help. All right. And then we'll have some resistance right there, that very top wick, 88 cents, 85 cents, 87 cents. It starts to get real thin though. the resistances get real light up here. I'll draw some more in to help us out. But yeah, at the current play, I think I'm going to wait until 50 before I take any off of this current trade and then look to buy back with the next resumption signal. Let's go over look at our current price action. You see I've got all these trend lines in here. I could probably draw some more trend lines too, but I think we've got enough horizontals to work with. I'm just working off those. On ADA. So ADA's coming back in now. And I was actually I'm more inclined right now on the level that we're in to add on this level. Yeah, so you're going to get a resumption signal here pretty soon off of this, assuming we hold it, right? You might get a resumption signal down here off of 41 or up here off of, now we'll move this to that top wick right there. So the market showed us where it stopped. Good. Now if you want to start drawing these real tight, there's another one there. Okay. So those could give you some resumption signals. You already had a couple there. I didn't take these. My two trades on are back here. I haven't taken a 4-hour resumption off of these levels. I'm waiting for the 12-hour to show me something. I think we're gonna get. I think we'll probably get a good resumption. If not, I've got two trades on myself. I'll be happy with those, and I have a large hodl position. It's one of my bigger positions. So, all right, that's ADA analysis. We blasted through though. Let's just see what happens here. I think I'll wait for a 12-hour entry to be my next entry. I think I'm good with where we're at. Good morning, Enoch. How long do you plan to hodl your alt positions? Check XLM. Thanks, guys. The audio is good. Confirmation. So let me go back here to start at the beginning. My hodl position, I'll play it by ear. I mean, frankly, I don't know what the date is when I'll get out. I'll see when Bitcoin looks like it's kind of topping out, and I'll see if we get a last final rotation from people taking profits in Bitcoin and playing other altcoins. So, you know, a couple weeks to a month after Bitcoin has started its downtrend, then we'll be out of altcoins and we'll be looking to short. I'll be here. You guys keep following me on this channel. We'll just keep playing it the way we're supposed to play it. When we get a clear and obvious downtrend, well, we're going to start selling resistances and going short crypto market and keep building up our funds to buy the dip. Let's see here. Good morning. Comment for the ALG. Check XLM. So I've looked at XLM a couple times. I think XLM's just kind of a big consolidation pattern. I think it could really break out, but it hasn't really broken out yet. So that's you know, let me know if that didn't answer your question. What's the best place to trade BTC with leverage? The only place I can right now is Kraken. So the best place, I suppose, if you have the ability to trade on Binance, wherever you're at. If Binance US, if you're in the US, Binance US, or if you're international, I'd say probably Binance. On ETH USD 2-hour, it has broken out of our triangle pattern and has retested and resumed upward currently. Oh, let me go look at a lower time frame ETH. I don't have a 2-hour, but let me just go a 1 hour here. It's like a smaller time frame you were watching here. Wedge, some type. Yeah, Stefano, agree. Always good to know where we're at in the stream of things. No problem, Timothy. On ETH, USD has broken our triangle pattern. So I'm guessing, so you're looking at a 2-hour, I'm on a 1 hour. You're a triangle. I'm trying to find the tops of this triangle you're looking at, because this is what I see. We haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know. Let me turn this off of auto. Yeah, I don't know what. I have to see. Maybe if you could post if you're on our Discord here. Maybe this. Right there. There you go. That's the upper end of a pattern. Those two touches, and then that touch up into it, and then yeah. So yeah, you do have some support on that pattern there. You could have drawn this as Yeah, okay, I see the triangle. That's around here. Let's see if I get some touches over here. Not really. So like that, basically. I'm guessing this is what you're looking at then. Let's go back here somewhere. I'm guessing you were tracking that smaller wedge pattern there. You're not on Discord, so Rog, is this the smaller wedge you were tracking by any chance? It's pretty close. Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, these smaller. So you got a smaller time frame breakout retest resumption there, and that formed a nice little, I don't know, bull flag, and/or you could draw that as a triangle or a bull flag on a really small time frame. Yeah, it's a little wedge there. I was looking at that too. I didn't know if you would have drawn a wedge here. Wedge is better right there. A little mini wedge. Bigger wedge than the breakout, small wedge. And now we're just fighting with this trend line I've had on here for a bajillion years. We've touched it right there before. We're into it, and then the 1508 is the big level. The 2018 Binance all-time high. 1440, perfect entry. Yeah, this is a good entry. I play this, the higher time frame. So like I said, I was in back here, but very good. All right, guys. Well, we're kind of consolidating here. Let's see what else we can look at while we let ETH do its work. Talked about some other pairs. Anybody want to talk about any other small projects that they've want to bring to the group's attention? Something I can research and/or give you my thoughts on if I have researched it. And I'll tell you, as I do this channel, obviously people are asking me about all kinds of things that I wouldn't have really looked at closely if they hadn't asked me. So it's great that I get a chance to research it. But also my time is so consumed with making sure I nail these trades and these major pairs right, and that I'm up to speed on what's going on with these major projects, and that I'm keeping us safe on these major pairs, that I just don't have the time to really research the smaller projects like I'd like. Like I said, the big one, Loopring, is the one that I've done the most work on very recently, and Matic. VeChain's been kind of lagging, so I quit talking about VeChain. I still like it. I still think it's got a bright future, but you can almost treat VeChain like an equity because it's a supply chain play in the crypto space, but it's a supply chain company at the end of the day. It's a company that does supply chain software. So it's more, VeChain can be probably more valued and looked at like an equity that happens to use a crypto platform. Zilliqa, Zilliqa is going to get destroyed by DOT. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it. If you're big into Zilliqa, it does the same thing that DOT does as far as the technology, but it does far less than Polkadot. So this is why I don't think Zilliqa's getting that much traction. I think Polkadot's getting all the attention. big difference in charts. That's the BTC. I'm sorry. Let's look at the DOT BTC. It's still moderately, a lot more staying power here. But Zilliqa did have that big pump. But Uni or KSM? Uni for sure. KSM just the test net, the lower cost network. I still have it on my charts just because it's a tradable thing. But yeah, for sure, Uni. Uni's the main chain, and that's the chain that's gonna, that's the more profitable chain. That's the one that the big production projects are going to use. This one's a launch pad for small projects. Now what you can do is you can take a look at who's developing on KSM and see who's getting a lot of traction that has candidate to maybe make a parachain slot. So Polkadot, the main chain, there's very limited slots that you can get on the main chain. It's really difficult to get a parachain slot right now, and you have to compete against other projects to get a slot. So KSM is a good place to look at, like an incubator of potential projects, but the KSM ticker itself, the crypto itself, isn't nearly as valuable as DOT is. But the DOT ecosystem is a great place to look at really small up-and-coming projects. That's kind of where, rather than just randomly going through the whole gambit of the crypto space and trying to find all the sleepers, that's kind of my other focus has been looking at who's getting adoption on who's getting parachain slots and why did the community like them. That's a good place to look for potential. The dot chart, yeah. All right. Let's do the 12-hour first. I start with the 12-hour typically. So this is the USD chart. It looks very bearish. It's obviously in a mega downtrend. That was a joke. Polkadot, I had this like gargantuan pattern on here. I actually see this more. Get this out of my way. Sorry. When I have to stream, I have to do this in this little sub 1080p section of it. Kind of see this more. I think I was goofing around with different things earlier. This is kind of what I see. Almost like a double bull flag like we were looking at on Link. But this upper part is to me kind of a bull flag. On the USD chart, this is .USD. It's consolidating though. You can draw it as kind of a wedge. Let me see if I see anything else here. It's obviously, but it's definitely an uptrend and it's definitely strong. But yeah, that's what I'd be watching for, is what happens with this. All right, and then the .BTC chart may be more informative for us. So you see I had this downtrend here that broke out. It's just consolidating. I mean, frankly, in all reality, this can go either way. But as long as Bitcoin's going up, DOT is probably, especially this is also, I mean, this is why I stopped trading. That's why I tweeted, because I don't know, I think we're going to find some support here at 62. And I think Bitcoin's about to farm up and maybe make another impulse here soon. So we'll probably be sideways. We'll probably be in this range on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So this is why I'm back to trading the USD chart, because I have confidence, obviously, that I think Bitcoin's going up from here. I think Bitcoin's kind of bottomed out and it's looking to resume upward. And even if we just consolidate, I'll be winning versus the US dollar on all these small trades. So if we continue to consolidate and that rotation phase of the alt cycle continues, and ETH does more work to catch up, for example, then I'll be winning that trade. But if Bitcoin goes ahead and makes a leg up, which it very well could, obviously we see we're broken out of these levels, then I don't want to be losing ground on my trades, trying to trade alts versus Bitcoin when it's done. It looks like it's done consolidating to me. It looks like it's getting ready to move. So on the USD chart, I think the main thing to understand is that if Bitcoin breaks out and makes its next move, all these alts are going to bleed versus Bitcoin just a little bit, but they're going to be getting, the tide's going to raise all these projects versus the USD. So, this DOT consolidation right now, if I was looking at DOT completely by itself without any other help from Bitcoin, I would be going, okay, this is definitely in an uptrend. It's consolidating here. I'd be looking to go long. I'd be looking to buy off of support for a long entry, but I'd be much more cautious. But because Bitcoin's chart, because it's correlated to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's chart is so much more bullish than DOT's USD chart at this moment in time. Then I have confidence that this upper breakout here is going to be it's going to move upward as well. And DOT should, in theory, what's going to happen is when Bitcoin makes its next leg up, these alts could still outperform Bitcoin as they front run Bitcoin as the FOMO phase kicks in and all crypto just goes absolutely ballistic. That's what I'm thinking is coming for February and March. I think we're going to enter a bit of a FOMO phase, an early FOMO phase, and then we'll have some summer doldrums. I think people are going to get really hyped up here in the next couple of months, and then people are going to be expecting the big lull in price, and it's going to get kind of boring for a little bit in summer. I mean, it's been boring for January. I mean, early January was exciting, and then it got boring, right? That's what happens. But let's go look at the BLX real fast. This is my long-term chart. Let's go to the log chart. Go back to last cycle, and I'm going to show you kind of why I think that. All right. So you see, we've made some big moves. So we're currently 380 something up and about 270 days in. Basically, this is where we're at right now as far as gains overlaid on last cycle. So this is the halving event, the opening price to the. So we've appreciated more than last cycle, obviously, and we've been consolidating now nicely. But you see these. And this is about the time Bitcoin in the last cycle made another big leg up. So I think we're probably in for another leg up after a similar period of consolidation, similar period of fighting the prior all-time high. Now, we've moved a lot more. It's been a lot more robust cycle. But I think we're in for another leg up. And we're going to get another big leg up. And then you see here, price from the top of this was effectively sideways last cycle for several months. Yeah. So if you look at the peak here, and then the bottom of the sell-off here, that was early June 2017 all the way through September 2017. June, July, August, September. So you had about a 4-month period from the peak of this next impulse up. Then you had a sell-off, an impulse up, and then a big sell-off. You were effectively flat until you started this next impulse up. So obviously you can play these impulses, but I think we're in for another big impulse up, and then something that looks like this all through summer. So what I'm going to be looking to do for that whole summer doldrum, which is what I think is coming. I think March we're going to get this big leg up. February through sometime starting this month and into early March, maybe starting late even this month into mid-March. I don't know. Or starting mid this month through mid-March, something like that. So this whole impulse up was April, May, June. That was about a 2-month move. So, you know, we may get a more of a start here early February, end up in late March, the top of this impulse. But yeah, come late March, I'm going to be looking to just get back into Bitcoin and just relax and not try to overly trade, because I think we're going to have this summer doldrum here. And I'll be watching Bitcoin. Now watch when I put the ETH BTC chart on here, and I'll show you what kind of happens. All right, we just talked about all that with just looking at Bitcoin's price. Now look at what ETH did. So you see something similar. We had this rotation phase I kept talking about, which I think is coming to an end. We may have a little bit more of it here, but when Bitcoin makes this next impulse up I've been talking about, the alts might front run it and just outrun Bitcoin. But they're all going to move up together. So this is why I got repositioned out of versus Bitcoin trade and all into versus USD trades, because they're all going to move up strongly together. Now, ETH, this is the versus the Bitcoin chart. ETH spiked heavily at the end of that impulse there. And then this summer doldrums I'm talking about, you see ETH was bleeding while Bitcoin was consolidating, made it, you know, consolidating, impulse up, consolidating, impulse up. ETH was bleeding versus Bitcoin through that whole phase. Sorry, clear my throat. All right. So I kind of expect something similar to happen here. So what I want to do is I want to play this next impulse and trade these alts in this early FOMO. This is the early FOMO phase I keep talking about, right? This is the rotation I talked about. And then this is kind of a lull. And then the early FOMO phase, which I think is coming. So we've had this early rotation. Then we had a lull, look just like this. It's been kind of boring, right? As everything consolidated. And then this monster move in alts, as alts catch up to Bitcoin. And then you're going to have the summer doldrum. So what I want to do is I want to play and I want to hold, try my best to push these alt trades that I have. There's going to be some volatility, right? So just remember that. But I'm going to try to push these trades up and take profit somewhere like what would have been this space. And then just hang out in Bitcoin and wait for Bitcoin to firm up, because then we're done trading alts. Then we're just heavily in Bitcoin. As you see, as the Ethereum Bitcoin, as Bitcoin did its grand, this is what I call the grand finale phase, right? So this is that, I've talked about it a couple times. Where's my little, here it is. Go back to mom, take this off auto. There. Okay. So we have that rotate. I'm gonna circle them for you guys. The rotation, which we just had, I think is coming to an end. Then we have the FOMO phase, which is what we're trying to play right now. It's why I have trades on versus USD and not versus Bitcoin. And then we have that shakeout bear trap, which is all this time period when BTC is effectively sideways. You do get this spike out over here, but it does come back. And effectively you're sideways. And then the alts bleed. So I want to be just hanging out in Bitcoin, just watching this price action. I might trim some Bitcoin. We come in to say 60,000 might be a good analog. We'll analyze that more when Bitcoin actually breaks out above 40. I'm not going to try to figure that out right now. That's too much to figure out right now. But I might try to shave a little bit of Bitcoin for buying the dip, and I'm going to take some of these profits from my alt trades and also be ready to buy the dip for those. And then I'll try to buy the dip here. We'll see if we can't play this in Bitcoin, but I want to be playing just Bitcoin. So I may be trying to do a little bit of selling these peaks and buying back the dip, and then selling this peak and buying. But I'll be focused much more on just doing a few small moves versus Bitcoin and just not over trading anything. It's really just hanging out. And then we get this grand finale phase. This is Bitcoin's grand finale. And Bitcoin does its thing, goes ballistic, and the alts bleed. It is gonna eat the world, right? So Bitcoin's gonna eat the world as it does this. That probably includes equities. I just want you guys to think, you've all this fear mongering about the market selling off. If the markets sell off, it's because so much money is flowing into Bitcoin. That's where people aren't going to sell equities that hold up in value and are basically inflation assets themselves against a deflating US dollar, which is going to continue to deflate because the money printing, it's a lag. It's a lag in time between when all that the money supply hits and the time it takes for it to filter through the market. But this will be why because Bitcoin is eating the world and sucking the value out of everything else, out of gold, out of silver, out of the equities markets, and it's just flowing into Bitcoin as everybody FOMOs insanely. So that's obviously we're going to all try to exit somewhere at the equivalent of in this range right here. When we figure out, okay, we've peaked and we get some clear signs that we're coming back down, we'll all be looking to exit our Bitcoin. That's the moment. That's our final play on alts. It's our final. So this might be somewhere between September 2021 and December 2021 is my best guess as to when we end up deciding to fully exit. And then you see Ethereum versus Bitcoin makes one final. Let's go back to the auto. One final. Oh, I've lost it now. My trading view likes to mess up like this on me. But alts, let me just put on ETH, BTC, ETH, USD real fast because that helps illustrate that last phase. All right, so after Bitcoin makes its all-time high here, we get after that as Bitcoin is coming down in price versus the US dollar, Ethereum is going up in price versus the US dollar. So it's our last chance. So the other thing we might look for too is when we get to this is when the alts start pumping really hard, we might know that the alts are actually going to suck life out of Bitcoin a little bit, or the funds out of Bitcoin, the profits are going to rotate into alts. So this will be our last chance to play alts, and we'll try to take the last few entries here for the few weeks following Bitcoin sell-off and try to make a little more profit. Now I'll be doing that with a portion of my profits. I'm not going to take my entire portfolio and be doing this. And then we're in the bear phase, and then everything's going to be breaking down, and that's when we'll be looking to sell resistance and the downtrend. That's my game plan. That's my game plan for at least a year out. All right. So let me go to comments here. Are you staking your vet? Yes, I am. I'm getting the VThor or whatever it is back for my staking my vet. If you take the CTM course, the link for the Discord is there. Yeah, I'll give you guys a link to the course as well if y'all want it. Just turned off my music. I didn't mean to do that. Put it in chat here. I got me a special. I need to update my. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go find another video of mine. Your channel. That has all the links I need. These live streams, for some reason, don't have all the links I'm supposed to have. All right, sorry, I'm gonna edit this. So you'll have a link to the CTM Telegram alert channel, the CTM training program, and then my Twitter handle. I just updated the video notes with the live stream. But I'm gonna put, here's the course, CTM training course. And here is, oh no. If I click on, oh, my Crypto Jedi link is broken. What is going on? My link to my Twitter is broken. Right. Here's my Twitter. That's where I try to do alerts and stuff, like my charts on Twitter. Just starting from beginning, intro is class. What would you, if that was a Run DMC's comment. Let me start here, see if I can find a comment, my last comment I read. I went over the dot chart. Henry, did you see that? If not, I can do it again, but what would be a good hodl entry on Uni if I'm not positioned yet? hodl. So when you want to go to a hodl position, I do that. What? My charts are all messed up. That's why. On uni, so what you're going to do is you want to buy into support. So let's try to draw a trend line on uni here. Let's go to 12-hour. And uni is so up. This is ETH BTC. Let's go to uni USD. You are going to get a big sell-off in uni. It's run so much, and it's going to keep going parabolic, but it's going to be volatile, right? So you're going to get a really good opportunity to buy, but it's going to be a lot higher than you probably think. So you see these impulses, sell-offs, impulse, sell-offs, impulse. I mean, it's just gone to the moon. Your next sell-off, if I were to do some fib extension work on this here, let's do this. Fib retrace levels. Where's my fib retrace levels? All right, let's find the impulses here. What do y'all call the impulse? I call the impulse has started right here and gone up to there. Let's go to the daily. I'm gonna keep my impulses better. That still looks like a good. These, you can count all these as impulses too, but I only see one red candle. I like this longer impulse down than these little red one daily candles. So I'm gonna cut out the noise of the daily candles. So obviously your 236 levels 17.5, and then let's do this. So that's our fib levels, and let's see what the sell-off levels would be. 30% off might be pretty close to a fib level. You watch. All right, a 30% off puts us at the 0.5. A 25% sell-off puts us at 382. A 40% puts us at 618. My strategy, if it was me, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing, and you lose all your money. Listen to me. But I would have roughly a 15, 20, and 25% purchase orders, limit orders in, and I just maintain those based on the top level. And you can see that those come in at the 382, 0.5, and 618 levels roughly. It was where I mapped out that 15, 20, and 25%. So those levels would be right now today, unless it makes an impulse up, 1545, 1382, and 1230. I try to catch any wick downs to those levels if I was trying to accumulate uni right now. Be my strategy. All right, but again, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing. You have looked at VeChain. Yeah, I have. I literally recorded a video on VeChain. I had my headphones on. I was listening to some music in the background while I recorded the video, and I had system sounds on. It totally ruined my video. Sup, Lemmy? Dot looks like it wants to follow ADA. I agree. Oh, Dot's at 17? Yeah, Dot looks like it's wants to break out here. Do we get a buy signal on that? Instead of doing this stream, should I be buying stuff? I think Link is going to surprise people. I think Link's about to make a big jump. That's what I think. All right, but I don't know. I think Link's about to. Dot could too. I mean, Dot could make a big move. They've both been consolidating. Doesn't ETH BTC gain a lot during the FOMO phase too? Yes, it does. Absolutely, it does. But it's going to gain. It's going to appreciate because both Bitcoin and because Bitcoin is also gaining versus the US dollar. The percentage gain on ETH BTC is going to be much smaller than ETH USD. So in the FOMO phase, you kind of want to be in the USD trades. But yeah, VeChain, I've talked about VeChain several times. I have it on a couple of videos. I've talked about it. Can ETH reach 0.01 this cycle? Well, this cycle, yeah, I definitely can. So my take profit target on this next move, the ETH BTC area, is up here at 0.06 to 0.08. That's where I'll be looking to take profit on any ETH BTC trades that I put on. So I think what's going to happen, we had this move. What I think honestly is going to happen, the reason I'm in USD, I think we're going to get some consolidation here. And then we'll have to see. I think it's later in the cycle that we get this bigger move, honestly. So I'm having to adjust on the fly because I thought the FOMO phase, I thought the rotation phase was going to take us all the way up into here. on it. That's what I had marked out, and I don't know that we're going to get there after all. But 0.01, I don't know. I think Ethereum, if it maintains the dominant player in its space, could overtake. It could be 1.0 to Bitcoin or 1.1 to Bitcoin at some point. I mean, that's the upside of Ethereum. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes. I think it is. I think it's possible. Ethereum. Well, no, that wouldn't be 1.0 though, because there's more tokens. I'm an idiot. It's possible that Ethereum could overtake Bitcoin's market cap, but that would not be 1.0. I don't know what I was thinking. So I don't know that we're going to hit. I don't know that we're going to hit 0.01 this market cycle, because this pop right here was smaller than I thought. I think it's a perfect storm for Bitcoin this market cycle. So obviously we have the halving cycle, but then we have the weakness in the dollar, and the inflation, and the gold 2.0 narrative with all the all the institutional buying. The dollar is firming up here a bit. I think the dollar is just doing a dead cat bounce, honestly. I've thought that since it did it. I thought that coming at 94, I thought the exact same thing, and sure enough. So I think this is a dead cat bounce on the dollar. But nonetheless, it's a perfect storm for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the trade. Bitcoin halving cycle plus inflation hedge and the gold 2.0 narrative is why crypto is moving as much as it is. I think crypto would still be probably moving on the merits, Ethereum and DeFi alone, but not as much as it's going to or is because of the Bitcoin halving cycle. So since Bitcoin is the trade for this cycle, I'm starting to think that Ethereum might be a little bit weaker than what we were kind of hoping for. I think quit moving these charts around so much, sorry. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see 0.15. I think it's going to be diminishing returns on this. So I was hoping for like a 0.06, but we traded this from 0.03 to 0.4 roughly. And I really wanted to get to 0.06, but I don't know that we're going to get there. We might. Again, trading versus the USD anyway. If Ethereum did make this monster of a move versus Bitcoin, then we'd still probably be nicely profitable, because Bitcoin would either have to be consolidating or Ethereum is just making a completely gangbusters move. Which I guess if Ethereum breaks its all-time high and makes a strong move to 2,800, we might actually, if Bitcoin just mostly consolidates or very slowly appreciates while Ethereum's doing that, we might actually see that jump to this level I've been watching. Dogecoin will eat equities too. Absolutely, buy Dogecoin. Forget Bitcoin. Thanks for the recommendation there, Stefano. Would you look at Litecoin? No, I've said, Sam, I don't know if you've started watching me. I've never liked Litecoin. I did last cycle. I mean, I traded Litecoin last cycle, sure. And I did really well. It's actually my best trade ever as far as like showing off to people. I was with some coworkers, and we were actually at a training. And the first night of training, we went out to dinner. And we were talking, and the crypto FOMO phase was starting to really get going. People were talking about crypto. And I said, yeah, I trade crypto. I've been mining. I mined Bitcoin a long time ago until it was impossible to mine with GPUs, and now I'm mining this thing called Ethereum. And I said, but I think this thing called Litecoin might have something. I've been mining some Litecoin too, so I'm going to buy some. So I bought some. Literally, what was that? I have to pull up a calendar. It was like somewhere in here. I bought some at the beginning of our class, below 100. It was below 100. I bought it at $90-something. And I was sitting at dinner, and I showed him that I actually bought it when we were sitting at dinner. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and buy some now. I was talking about it so much. So I'm just going to buy some. So I think this is going to go way up. And like 2 days later, it spikes. By the end of our class, it must have been right here. By the end of our class that Friday, the morning we came in, I told him, yeah, last night I sold and we hit 300. I sold at 300 right there. So I went ahead and sold. It was such a big move. I went ahead and sold at 300. So they just thought I was like the most wizard master of the markets ever. And that was just pure luck. I just happened to be talking about Litecoin as an option so much to them because I had just started looking into mining it. And I went ahead and bought some, and they just thought I was a genius. I just got lucky. But I liked Litecoin last cycle. This cycle, no. I've been saying it forever, no. Litecoin's a relic of the past. Litecoin is something that people who traded, did well with it last market cycle or heard about it last market, they're going to think it's the it's going to follow Bitcoin. It's like an amplifier on Bitcoin. Enough people have figured out that Litecoin is not like a lightweight version of Bitcoin just isn't a thing. It's not. You can with layer 2 scaling solutions and with like wrapped Bitcoin, Ren would be a better play at this point than Litecoin. Here, Ren, they're the ones that are largely behind. Where is Ren on my chart here? Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find it. Wrapped Bitcoin. If you've seen wrapped Bitcoin, the ability to make or synthetics too. So Ren and SNX, the ability to make a derivative of Bitcoin and or a wrapped ERC20 version of Bitcoin. Where the heck is Ren? No, I have it on here. I was looking at it earlier this morning. Right there. These two projects, the ability to put use Bitcoin in the DeFi space. Bitcoin is the global reserve currency for all things crypto. So, and it's the store of value. It's the thing that has value. Litecoin, a lightweight version of that, is useless. It's just useless now. There's no use for it anymore. Dash too, like these lightweight payment systems. The only thing that they have, like Dash and Zcash, have going for them is their privacy use case, which the privacy thing, because of regulation, has been under pressure, and the pure privacy play is Monero, XMR, but it's been under pressure because of all the potential regulation, all the KYC requirements, which could really hamper and kill a lot of these privacy projects. So Zcash, Dash, Litecoin, Doge, all of them, they're all worthless. There's no future for them, none at all. So, and I was talking about Monero. I traded Monero. We had one of the very first early trades we did in the market was this nice little pop on Monero. I think I was watching it on I had an uptrend. It was on a USD chart. Hold on, XMR USD. If I go find my chart on it, I had an uptrend channel I was monitoring. We broke out of the top of that uptrend. Had a really good trade on it. But anyway, yeah, none of those projects have a future. Just drop Litecoin like a hot potato. You're welcome, TCSP. I don't know what the real name is, but you're welcome. Thank you for support. I appreciate all the support, everybody. When you give percentage of your holdings, for example, 6%, are those your hodl positions? Those are my hodl positions, Nathan. Yeah. I mean, I keep having to I think in my head, I think the people who are on this are the same CTM core people that I always talk to that know my trading style. Yes. When I talk about my static percentages, those are my hodl positions. They have nothing to do with my trading position. Those are what I have in cold wallets, offline, or whatever. Wherever I have them, they're not on an exchange somewhere that I'm trading. I have a subset of my funds, specifically a Bitcoin is my core account, and a trading platform that I use to actively trade with. So my trades are completely detached from what I'm holding on the side. So again, I've got the majority of my crypto assets I'm holding offline somewhere, and then I have a piece of my Bitcoin that I've got on a exchange that I'm trading with a subset of my Bitcoin holdings. And those trades, I talk about those trades, those are very detached, and I don't really manage the percentage of sizes of my trades based on how much I'm holding. It's purely just technical setups and how good the technical setup is and how much I think that it's purely just all TA on that. ETH, when's a good ad if you don't have a position, don't want to chase momentum? Oh my goodness. Whew. Timothy, when it breaks, the best place to add is going to be when it breaks 1508 and comes back to test it. A resumption off of there is your best entry coming up. So you're probably going to get a move off of here, retest. So if you're really brave, you can buy into support as it comes back here. People are going to be scared to do that because they're afraid of a false breakout, and it could sell off and come back down to some of these other levels. And I would be too. At that point, at the initial breakout, you just don't know what's going to happen. It can be a false breakout. So we could break out strong here and go to 1700 and then sell off all the way back to like a 1200. So just know that. But your best next entry is a retest resumption off of this level. Which, I mean, you might be buying at 1600 Ethereum. But that's the next best place. Because if you sell off here, right? If we get a sell off, you can maybe play the bottom of this channel and like 12. The other place to look to lean in is if we do make it back to 1274 for one more test. We've been marching up these higher lows. Maybe you get back one more time for a test at that same level. I think probably it's more like a test of 1300 at this point. Makes more sense, but anything can happen. It's crypto. That may be the last place to look. A sell off to 1320 or so, and then a resumption off of that level, wherever that comes in. If you get that sell off, then that would be probably the next best place. On a really low time frame, actually, because we had I forgot who it was earlier in the stream here. Just brought this up. They were watching the 2 hour. This wedge that we drew out on the 2 hour here. We've already had a retest resumption off of that level. I suppose if you came back into this level and resumed off, that might be an entry too, but it wouldn't be a strong one. It'd be a very weak entry because you've already had that. That would be more, if it comes back to this level, this is a rejection at 1518, and it's probably not going to hold up here. It's probably going to look for stronger support lower. So, I mean, the safe place is just to chill and wait for this to break, retest, resume. Or just a confirmation, right? So a resumption, you can just call this a resumption confirmation. Just get a resumption breakout confirmation. I hate how you can't instant ACH deposit on Kraken. Wire is so slow right now. Hey, Henry. Yeah, I use Gemini as my on-ramp, off-ramp. So I do my, I put my fiat first in Gemini, buy the assets, and then move them over to wherever I'm going to go. So if I'm going to, it depends on where it's going. But I typically move funds around the crypto world in USDC or ETH. So sometimes, most of the time, I just buy Ether, and then I move that over, and then I convert it to whatever I want to use. That's typically what I do. You can just buy Bitcoin too, and then move just Bitcoin on chain. Just know if you're going to move a decent amount. If you're going to move, Sunday night's the best time to move Bitcoin because the fees are the lowest. But I said I usually just move it as Ether or USDC myself. More recently, more frequently do I use USDC. All right, Timothy. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you already have a position. I just bought ETH for my Roth. If you already have a position, you can be a little more aggressive, honestly. I think you can probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still. I'm just trying to give you a safe answer. Safe answer is wait for it to break because we don't know if this is going to get rejected or not. Either wait for a rejection. At this point, you got to wait for it's going to reject and then try to buy off of a lower support as it comes back into that, or wait for the breakout and then buy the confirmation of a breakout. Could you please explain again why the trade during the FOMO phase should be USD, not BTC? I thought BTC was a trade we wanted to increase our BTC stack. So, two thoughts on that. One, depends on how your margin account works. Is that you can still, your base account, you can still be paid. Your profits can be paid to you in whatever currency you denominate in your base account, depending on how you have it set up. So just because you're trading versus USD doesn't mean you're getting paid in USD. Now, I still have yet to figure out exactly everything on Kraken. I think I'm initially being paid in USD and it's converting it to Bitcoin. I haven't looked at it closely yet. But the other thing too, frankly, I won't mind being paid in a stable coin or US dollars because I'm really going to look to fully close these positions right as I think Bitcoin's kind of topping out. And so if you're not leverage trading and using a margin account and all this other stuff, right? If you're just flat buying, ETH or DOT or whatever to try to gain more Satoshis. The other thing too to keep in mind is that as Bitcoin comes into say like 60,000, if you do use USD to trade these for now in the FOMO phase, you'll have some dry powder once you take profit on these to buy the dip on Bitcoin. That's the other way to kind of look at it. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards myself right now is if Kraken doesn't end up settling and I have to go look at my settings. I need to go do that actually right now and verify exactly how that's going to work. But if I get paid out in USD as opposed to getting settled in Bitcoin, then that's okay because I'll just use that as an opportunity to buy the dip on Bitcoin. Now, I'll probably make a bunch of smaller trades in there, and I'd rather just be getting settled in BTC. So it just depends on how the margin is set up, and depends on the broker and your settings. Hey, thanks, Greg. Appreciate you stopping by. Just bought ETH for your IRA. Good job. If you staked out with Kraken, can you sell your locked into staking? Henry, this is stupid that I don't know the answer to that, but I have DOT staked on Kraken, and I hope you can sell it. I haven't even looked. Honestly, just bought it and started staking it. I think you can sell it, though. I don't know what the lockup period is. I have to go look at that. I think there might be a short lockup period. I knew I wasn't selling my DOT anytime soon. I was going to deal with that, cross that bridge when I got there. So I don't know. Could you please explain? Average up is the worst feeling. Yeah, Timothy, it does feel weird until you get used to the idea that you want to be trading from a position of strength. So it's much. I did this early on when I started investing, as I would try to keep buying the dip, and and it kept it's like that meme. I kept buying the dip, but it kept dipping, and I thought I needed to keep buying every little dip I wanted to buy because when it takes off, I'm going to be really, really ready. It's so much better just to buy into support on the uptrend rather than trying to catch a falling knife, and that's just the reality. And so, yeah, it's better just to wait for. But the other thing too is when ETH breaks this level, I wouldn't imagine. Now again, it's crypto, so I don't know, but I wouldn't imagine that we don't actually get a big breakout and then we end up consolidating and then a big fake out, or people are freaking out. Oh, it's going back under, and then it just fakes people out and makes the next big leg up, right? This is probably what's going to happen. This is what happens in crypto over and over again. So don't think that when we break 1508, even if we move quite a bit, we're not ever coming back to touch it. So we probably are, but we never came back to test. We only had one quick test of 620. We broke it here. I mean, we came back. See, this is an example. Okay, I take it back. So 620 was an important level I was watching. We broke it and looked like we might be having some resumption. Then we fell down. And then it fooled everybody. And Ethereum does this over and over and over again. Is it does this big sell-off right before the next leg up. And it's just a big fake out every time. It feels like, anyway, to me, as I'm sitting here trying to trade this thing. I've eaten a lot of stops because it does this. It's annoying. But that's the way ETH moves. That's why I've been using wider and wider and wider stop losses too, because I'm sick of eating all these stops, trying to mess with these big fake out down. So what'll probably happen, though, my point is, we may get way up here, and you think we're way far away, and it's just crypto. It's going to sell off and freak everybody out. Everybody's been freaking out as we hit 14,440 or something like that, after having been up at 2,000 for 2 weeks, and then it's just the way it works. So it's going to come back to you. Just be patient. It most likely is going to break out big and then come back here. And going back in history here. This is the bull market, and things get kind of crazy. So you see, once we took out, we actually consolidated around 750, which is a little bit lower. I thought we were going to consolidate around 850 myself, but we consolidated around 750, and then man, it just blasted and never came back to test that level. This happens in crypto, and then you get a big old gap where the last level it tested is 900 or 850. That can happen too. So who knows? Dot plus 100? Oh yeah, I think that's an easy target. Absolutely. 100 dots? Sure. I'll one-up you. $200 dot. I think dot hits $200 this market cycle. Link's going to hit 200. Dot's going to probably hit 200. ADA's probably going to hit $3, $4, $5 even. I don't know. Something crazy. I'll probably be out of it before it actually peaks. I will never catch a top on it. I'll have a blow off top of some crazy number. ETH might hit 10 grand or more. I don't know. It won't stay there for long. Obviously, we're gonna hit this big bear market when all those blow off tops happen. All right, guys. I have conquered the market on eating stops. Yes. You know what? I would have, if I never ate a stop unnecessarily on crypto, my gains would be utterly ridiculous. But because of eating all those stops, my gains are far more pedestrian. But anyway, if we get better at that, if we can figure out a way to quit eating stops on these crazy wick downs, I think that would help. I mean, not placing stops would be the answer, but that's far more dangerous, honestly. So I'd rather have more modest gains and have the proper discipline around trade management and risk management and just eat the stops or trade smaller positions, which is what I've resorted to. I've resorted to entering a bunch of small positions and averaging up, as we were just talking about with Timothy there, is I just take a bunch of small positions and I just keep averaging up. It's a safer way to do it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up. I got this very heavy, this has been playing in my head this whole time. It's like really a bit much for midday music, but it's the name of it's Ether. So I've been to White Bat Audio Ether Synthwave. All right, guys, thank you so much. We hit 1,500. We'll see if we get some more action tonight.